Hello everybody, it's me here, Cameron, and a warm welcome to the Hannah Cameron channel. Today we're going to be talking about Chris. Chris from Mr. Beast has obviously changed. His look has changed. His gender has changed. Well, we don't know that. Okay, we do not know that. So Chris is someone who's been on Mr. Beast for a while. I used to watch Mr. Beast years ago, but as he became more and more mainstream, I think his content just became a lot more childish. Now, Chris is a very interesting character because he came from such an edgy background. Like, I was literally searching up for the tweet that he posted, pretty much just exposing himself for taking hormone replacement therapy. In the midst of looking for the tweet, I found lots of interesting tweets just on Google, like offensive, edgy tweets between what happened at the Ariana Grande concert and what's going on in the Philippines. Why the F do we even take Islam serious? Oh my God. It's an old ass backwards religion that hates everything different and treats women like shit. Why the F do people still accept it? Like, that's a terrible tweet, okay? My personal favourite tweet by Chris. Look at all the black people who have never had a steak that's more than $10. What was the joke? What's the joke? That doesn't even make sense. I'm eating at a Japanese restaurant completely owned and operated by Hispanics. My inner weeb is crying. When you're hitting it from behind and she said Hitler did nothing wrong. Nut. So clearly this guy, used to be incredibly edgy. And I'm not going to sit here and say I support that because I don't. I actually think these jokes are too far. I mean, you can make racist jokes and everything, but they have to be at least funny. And I think looking at Chris Tyson's background, I think it is plausible that he could be a racist. Looking at Chris's tweets as time progressed, he changed his tune. So someone tweeted, "Bro, WTF happened," and then they show the transition from when he used to be edgy and cool, and now he looks a bit weird. Not to be offensive or anything, but he does look very, very weird. And he's retweeted it by saying HRT, meaning hormone replacement therapy, and it's only been 2 months. He went on to tweet, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get GNC, I think that means gender non-conforming, to get life-saving, gender-affirming care in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own body." So he's now become an advocate for hormone replacement therapy, which is obviously therapy that makes you more feminine. Now, Chris hasn't changed his name. He goes by all pronouns. So saying that he's trans isn't actually an accurate descriptor of him. The accurate descriptor of him is he has lost the plot. That's literally it. So a lot of people are wondering, what happened? Why did he go from being, this edgy alpha male? I don't know why I call him an alpha male, but he went from being quite masculine, being quite edgy, to ultimately transitioning. What caused that? So a lot of people have blamed Carl for it. Carl is fruity. He's a fruity guy, but he's not. He's fruity, but that's it. He's just a bit fruity. I don't think it's his fault. He's not even trans himself. I don't get it. You can't blame Carl for it. It ain't Carl's fault, okay? I think transitioning is a really difficult conversation because for me, the way I look at it is I think age is very important, okay? I believe that once you are past the age of 18, you are at a position in your life where you deserve freedom, okay? And if you don't feel like you're a man and you were born into a man's body, I don't think it's right for people to control how you pursue that. If you genuinely want to be a woman, even though you're born in a man's body, I think you should have the freedom and liberty to exercise that. Now, that doesn't mean that you're free from criticism. It doesn't mean everyone has to agree with it. But I do think from a legal perspective, it should be possible to have hormone replacement therapy. If that's how you want to be in the future, I believe that, as long as you weren't groomed into it, as long as you are, not mentally ill, Like, I think it is something that should be possible, but it shouldn't be put on people. And that's what really frustrates me, because you have kids who are being taught that you can be born into the wrong body, which is such a deluded thing to fucking teach kids. I think it is disgraceful how kids are being taught this ideology that you can be born into the wrong body. Why the fuck are you telling kids that? Okay, can you be born into the wrong body? You know, born into a man's body when you're actually a woman at heart and mind? Maybe you can be, but just don't put that idea into kids' head. Like, it's just not fair. I just don't see that, because to understand concepts like that, you need to be so fucking mature and you need to be so developed. And if you are taught these things from a really young age, you shouldn't be exposed to it. You just shouldn't be exposed to it at all. It causes more harm than good. That's how I see it. The thing is with life is that you change over time. And I think it's really important that in life, when you do change, you don't try to kill the old version of yourself. There are versions of myself that I look back on and I hate. Having a YouTube channel, having done YouTube for 9 years, nearly 10 years, obviously not uploading every day or anything, but I can look back at my content and I can see videos that I made when I was a kid. A lot of these videos I hate. I hate who I used to be. But just because I hate who I used to be, it doesn't mean that I do anything about it. I recognise that I've grown up and I've moved on. And I think that when you are an adult, it is easy to try to hide who you used to be. It is easy to pretend that you are, far away from that person. And I think with him, what he might have done in his mind is he might, dislike who he used to be, who he, maybe thought he was. And now he's not just moving on from it, he's doing too much to distance himself from it. I think him being trans, it might be a case of, I want to prove to people that I've changed. And obviously changing your gender, changing your sex is about the most impactful thing you can do. Like, you can dye your hair, you can change your body shape, you can get tattoos, but changing gender, that seems like a bigger thing. And I genuinely believe that, like, with people who are trans, people who are, LGBT, and they tap into these fallacies, I think a lot of it is narcissism. I really do. Because what they expect a lot of the time from people around them is absolutely entwined with self-entitlement and self-gratification. Like, they want to announce to people, this is my identity. This is who I am. You have to accept me for it. They're forcing people to give them praise. They're forcing people to support them. And they don't expect anything less. And if they do get anything less, they can, get the card out of, oh, you're transphobic, you're offensive. And what happened actually on Twitter is Chris confronted someone who did quite a rude tweet about them. Chris called Better Call Saul. He called Saul Goodman from Walter White Breaking Bad. I don't know how real this is. Looking at it, it might not be real, but I mean, I don't know. It's been reported by news networks, so it might be real, but someone tweeted, oh, Chris would make fun of new Chris, which is an objectively true statement. He would, But Chris replied to it saying, hey, I saw this tweet from you today and wanted to say that Better Call Saul has been called, and you'll get a court notice from Albuquerque for defamation. Don't know why or anyone would tweet something so hatred towards... Okay, maybe it's not real then. Chris, married, has a child, has a family. And it's tragic to see. It is tragic to see, because the problem that we have in society is people overreact massively. Like, being trans, people will look at that in disgust. And I am not disgusted by this. I am honest. Like, Chris being trans doesn't affect me. And you know what? If it makes him happier, fair enough. Fair play. Okay, so that's kind of the middle ground, right? But then some people are completely against it and think it's disgusting and think that he's, damaging his family, his child. He's destroying his fucking wife because obviously the relationship is over now. And then other people are like super supportive of Chris and they're saying he's so brave, when in actuality, I'd say that his wife, I think, is the brave one, because she's going to have to put up with all this shit. Like, imagine being married to someone who you've had a child with, who you love so dearly, and finding out that they're not even a man. Finding out that they don't associate themselves with being a man. Like, that's just bombastic, okay? It's just terrible. Like, I was with someone who turned out to be a lesbian, and, you know, luckily for me, you know, we weren't that close. Like, we were in a relationship, but we didn't have kids. You know, we weren't married or anything. But that still crushed me a lot, because I felt lied to. You know, it's easy to feel lied to when you have someone who so vigorously denounces who they used to be. Because that's what it is. Like, Chris is disassociating from this character that, you know, was married to his wife and was the father to his child. I don't know if he has called Saul. I don't know if Saul has been called, guys. I'm sorry. Someone tweeted, I'm confused as to what you ID as, but you do, you brother/sister bear. I'm confused as to what you ID as, but as you do, brother/sister bear. What the fuck does that mean? I purposely have not come out as an identity. I just enclosed I was on hormones. I'm going to talk more in the future about it right now. So this is what I mean, like with the ego thing, right? The narcissism. He's making such a big deal out of it for attention. Like the way that's worded, I just disclosed I was on hormones. I'm going to talk about it more in the future, but for right now, any video claiming I identify as X is just speculation. Like, it's that self-importance of people are going to be speculating about me. People are wanting to know. People are making lies about me. But guys, you've got to wait until I announce it. It's that self-importance. It's that narcissism. And that's where I think a lot of it comes from. I think a lot of these people who come out as trans, they want everyone to fucking, like, obsess over it. And of course people do, because it's a big deal. But people care more about attention and, you know, getting praise and getting gratification from other people. They care more about that than authenticity. Like, people lie about it. People can believe that they are someone who they are not because it positively affects them so much. Like, the amount of support this guy has had, or girl, or it, or identity, I don't know what the fuck he is. This mushroom, I don't know. But the amount of shit he's had for this, he's mad. Like, it's crazy. He's got a lot of attention from it. So here's Chris. Here's Chrissy. That might be their new name.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt. Nice.
Live stream, Mr. Beast confronts Chris Tyson.
Be brave. Be honest. Be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
Oh, wow, he's different. I'm just saying the internet makes fun of any chick.
Give one example.
Wait, I think I've seen this place before. Give one example. Name one.
It doesn't even make any sense because he's talking the same as well. Like, a lot of people when they're trans, they like change their voice and everything. Like, he's just the same as he was before, but he's just got longer hair and looks more feminine. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And obviously he has very close friends, and none of his friends are going to turn around and say to him, Chris, what the fuck are you doing? And that's the thing. Like, with being trans, people have this idea that if someone transitions, you have to support them. But it's long term. It's long term that matters. Like, you have all these people who transition, and great, yeah, you support them, and for the year, the 2 year, the 3 year, the 4 year, they come out as gay for, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they're happy with their decision. But 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, and obviously there are certain things that you can't reverse. Okay, you can't reverse a broken family. You know, you leave your wife because you think you identify as a woman, you can't turn back. You've caused that damage to her, and that relationship is over. That family unit is gone. There's a lot of variables, and that's why, like, this topic is so complicated, because it seems like the pro-trans people are happy for, like, children to get hormone replacement therapy. Fuck off. It's not fair. That's not fair. You know, when I was like 13, I pretended that I was a car in the playground. Like, does that mean I should have fucking exhaust fitted to my body when I was 13 because I felt like I identified as a car? No, I was just a retard. Like, you grow out of shit like that. Now, what's interesting is, like, they've still got the photos up of them too, I'm pretty sure, on social media. And, like, I think this guy even mentions that Chris has been commenting on the posts. And it just goes to show that they do have a good relationship. You've got to realise it's very one-sided, because when you have someone you love change so much as a person, you know, they transition, they come out as gay, whatever it is, the other person who didn't do the transition, the other person who's always been there and hasn't changed, they're the victim. They're left in the dust. And I genuinely believe that Chris commenting on her posts and being friends with her and being supportive with her is merely him feeding her crumbs. Because when you lose someone, when you're with someone and they're trans, they come out as gay, they come out as lesbian, like what happened to me, you still love them. You still fucking care about them and you wish it didn't happen. So when they're still nice to you after the breakup or after the divorce in this case, you enjoy the crumbs, but you want so much more. And I think it's really manipulative and shit. Like, I know that might sound like a bit of a far cry, but having been there, I know it's probably true. If you have someone who turns out to be gay, turns out to be trans or bi or fucking lesbian or a combine harvester, like, you would understand what I'm saying. But if you haven't, and it's not that common, to be fair, you probably won't. But hopefully you do a little bit. I don't hate Chris. And you've got to realise that, you know, things drive people to be attention seekers. People are driven into narcissism. Maybe he's dealt with some really hard shit that's made him mentally ill. And if that's the case, you know, maybe it is a bit harsh, like being so critical of him. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, that's probably the wrong word because it was quite a serious video, I guess. But if you did appreciate this video, if you found it entertaining or gripping, you could say, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new today, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Take care, guys. Fantastic.